true, so real.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is actually now my third podcast. I'm pissed off parent. Just wanted to kind of share some information that I had today, and trying to get into, kind of get a regimen going, get a cadence going of doing these periodically and providing information out there on the topics impacting us with child support and custody interference and things like that. And again, this is a new format, so just kind of testing out the, working through the bugs. I had one a little bit earlier where I plugged the wrong jack into the wrong speaker, and I couldn't hear anything, but it was playing. That's how it goes. But also, I've actually inserted a new format, testing out, of course, where on all the different, on Facebook, the streaming channels, you'll be able to actually make comments. So if you're currently tuning in, I don't know how many people are on because I haven't got my third monitor going, and you've tuned in and you want to talk and be part of the conversation, you're more than welcome to make some comments there, and we'll address those and go from there. And again, not an attorney, don't want to be an attorney, just again providing information out there and just trying to create awareness for those issues, along with a number of the other organizations that are out there. But today, at least for this podcast, who knows what I'll do later? I don't even know what I'll do later. Wanted to talk about here in Tarrant County, Texas. We have our upcoming election for the district attorney. As hopefully, as some people, everyone knows that the custody interference, 2503, those type of things fall squarely in the district attorney's area. And we actually got some good news through various efforts. Actually, Larry O'Neill of the Fort Worth Memories Group announced yesterday that there's going to be some positive movement. I think there's a 6-week time frame to get more information out there, but he announced yesterday that there's going to be some forward movement and finally addressing the 2503 custody interference issue. And for those that don't know, 2503 custody interference in Texas is a state jail felony. And it's basically on the books for when one parent won't give the other parent the child or children during their court-ordered custody time. It's amazing that we have to have a law and a rule for that, but here we are. And unfortunately, the law is not being followed. And through, again, various efforts, trying to create awareness, everyone doing it in their own special way. I'm a tech nerd, so here I am. But in Tarrant County, we have, again, district attorney race that's coming up this November, and we've got two candidates, Phil Sorrells, who's the Republican candidate, and Tiffany Burks, who's the Democratic candidate, and they both have different perspectives on 2503. So I know there's been some back and forth and things like that, and I don't know how near and dear this is to the folks that would be tuning into this channel. I'm assuming quite a bit. 2503 custody interference is one of the many things impacting parents and children of divorce, separation, and when couples split up. So I wanted to go ahead and just let you listen listen to both candidates state their position on how they feel or what they think of custody interference 2503. Now with Tiffany, who actually will be speaking first, this was one actually short message, about a minute long, where she kind of taught her and Phil, or I'm sorry, not her, Phil, her and, which is a whole other issue, but her and Larry were talking about it, and hopefully you'll be able to hear that they've talked about it a number of times in the past. I just grabbed a quick excerpt there, or a quick section on the 2503 where they talked about it briefly, and then Phil, who's actually only at least of recent memory, been on Larry's show or talked about it in any way, shape, or form. I had him on, and I have his comments, which I think are in the 5 to 7 minute, which will be a little longer, so I do want to offer my personal commentary on it, as I seem to think that I know a little something about PC 2503. So without further ado, let's go ahead and listen in.
Now, last night I was on a
again,
telephone interview with a gentleman out of San Antonio, and he told me on the 2503 situation that there's a group of district attorneys and people in communities. Tarrant County was not one of them, but a district attorney sent them a letter that they are now starting to enforce 2503, and he sent me a copy, and I'm going to forward it to you.
Was that in Bear County?
I think it was in Bear County.
Okay, sure. I'd love to see it.
Because as more awareness is coming, it is a felony, and people can't just pick and choose. We're not going to prosecute this felony. We are this. There's a lot of parents that need to know that something is finally going to be looked into, and I've told them all, you publicly said you will look into 2503.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't know what you don't know,
yes.
Right? And so, that's the one thing from this show that I've really gained a lot of information about, and that's 2503, because I really didn't know anything about it. So yes, send it to me.
Yes, I will.
I'd love to look at it. Yeah.
And if you can get me a list of that other deal,
I can do that.
Okay, yeah, because.
And that was in a conversation, I believe it was April of this year, where again, and Tiffany, openly admitted she did not know about it. She'd worked in the DA's office for I think 2 decades, and hadn't come across that situation. Of course, for those of us that know, and some of us that have researched the data, i.e., me, we kind of know why, and we understand. But she's been very open and willing to look into the matter and do something about it. So, that we've heard from her, and now we will hear from Phil Sorrells. He was on Larry's show about 2 weeks ago, September 10th, I think, of this year, and talked about a number of things, but I went ahead and just clipped out the discussion about 2503, and again, I will be offering some commentary. Oh, and be sure to, again,
another topic that a lot of my members, these family courts, 2503, that's the enforcement of the child shared parenting. We don't enforce it, and in fact, when I first interviewed Tiffany Burks, I asked her about it, and she openly said on my show, I'd never even heard of that, because she's been in the criminal court side of it. But it's a felony, and
state jail felony.
We don't do anything about it. I had Manny Ramirez come on, and he said that's a civil matter. We have to figure out a system, and the thing in retrospect, in the law enforcement side, I call you out, y'all send the police officer out, and I say my wife hadn't brought the kids over. Here's my documents, and they're dated 2019. How does that police officer know that that's the current? Because they always do these modifications. Right. We've got to have, I'm trying to get Tom Wilder said he'd come on. We got to get to working together to where, but we got to have a system.
It starts with the police when you're talking about cases in the DA's office, because we get cases from agencies.
Okay, so
file these cases, but I'm sure the police officer's looking out there. Do you want me looking for the murderer?
That's exactly right. I'm going to tell you that.
Or do you want me looking for your child custody case? And it's not to say that those aren't important, but they're allocating resources, and they know that you can go to family court and get contempt and get the guy put in jail or the girl put in jail because they're not following their custody case.
But they're not. Orders. There's no set deal. I've interviewed 100 people. They don't. They're told to call the Fort Worth Police or North Richland Hills, Haltom City Police, and then they say it's a civil matter. I understand.
Pause here. So what I put up on the screen is this is the document that's in most divorces, most SAPers. That the documents clearly say, and of course I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir here, it says specifically in there that they're able to use reasonable efforts to do that. And actually there's a section in here that if somebody knowingly presents for an enforcement order that's invalid or no longer in effect, they commit an offense and can be punishable and confined in jail for as long as 2 years and a $10,000 fine. So again, that section right there, covers. Well, actually, if you read in there, the officer is held harmless, meaning that if they act in good faith, they take the kid, and it's a fraudulent or a bad order. The officer doesn't get in trouble, and then the parent that provided the false information, and again, you can't accidentally do this. You know what you're doing. They would then get in trouble and go to jail for 2 years and get a fine of $10,000. Seems pretty clear cut.
Because you can do contempt. It's an order. It's a judicial order that has been
That's
signed
contempt
that you
of
have.
court.
So you take your ex-wife or ex-husband back to court, to the family court, and for a contempt hearing.
Shouldn't have to.
Now, the problem with that, I mean, I'm just looking at this practically. I've never been involved in it, and Tiffany's right that, you know, we don't see these cases
Right.
in the criminal justice system. They're not
Let
filed.
me pause here. So this was a study that was done, and over I believe a 5-year period, this is how many 2503s they received from all over Tarrant County, and basically it was, I think, 1213. 5 of those were no builds. 7 had some type of something happen with it. And you'll see in a slide here coming up the overall number over that same 5-year period and where it stacks up against everything else as far as what police are called out to do. The other thing I do want to just note in here is that, you know, I've been talking in my conversations with Larry and then on the chat, you know, towards Phil and well to every candidate is as a voter, I want transparency, and you should too. You want to see what's being done behind closed doors. This carries over into cameras in the courtroom and things like that. But for this matter here, dealing with the judiciary, dealing with the DA's office, we should have transparency. And if we get a report card of sorts, then we know. I mean, there was a comment he had made about, you know, do we want to be going after children? Do we want to spend our time going after children, or do we want to go after murderers? Okay, show me the data. We can't get that data. I've made requests to get information on how many people have been jailed for child support, which that's a whole other issue. People being put in jail for child support, it's not really that big of a deal to do that, but then everything else is a huge deal. But again, I'd love to get the data on that.
It would be the first reason I would tell you, but if you're going back to family court, what does that mean? That you've got to call your lawyer to go represent you in
And
court.
aggravation.
That costs
and
you
you
money.
shouldn't. It's a state law.
Well,
Call an attorney.
half
then
the
it's- and
people
then
I
it's-
interview don't have any money to have an attorney.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And then it's going to take time on that contempt hearing over there. Well, you get in the criminal justice system and think that your case in family court takes a while. You get in the criminal justice system on the state jail felony, and it's again, the court's going to first, we're going to deal with the capital murder, we're going to deal with the
Sure,
murders, the
sure.
ag robberies, the sexual assaults, the trafficking, the organized crime. Now we're getting down to car theft and
Might wanna
child
look at your
custody.
data.
Well, to the parents, that their case is more
the
important
most
than
im-
anything.
it's the most
but
important
I agree
case.
with you. We're going to send a couple of police officers out, and it's going to take 2 hours to listen to the sides, and the other side's going to argue. That's not an answer. That's not a. But there has to be some kind of viable process or something where somebody
And Tarrant County is
suggested
working on
that the county or I guess the county should have a number you call to where they can give you a report number over the phone.
is.
Kind of like if you have a wreck and you don't want them to come out, you get a report number over the phone, and then it goes to, I guess, the district attorney's office to be investigated.
Well, it's going to go.
Everybody knows that you can go online, and when you receive an incident report, you can go online and get that information and push the matter. It's stopping somewhere.
Police department, the police department, the agency where you live is going to do that investigation, and they're going to make the determinations. There's probable cause, and they're going to forward it on to the DA's office. The DA's office is going to look at that case to see, well, yes, there is probable cause, and we'll take it to the grand jury. Take it to the because it's a felony. Take it to the grand jury. The grand jury makes a determination whether they'll do a true bill or no true bill.
And Tiffany,
So, when a person has an instance of custody interference, we're assuming they're following the items that are available. If you go to pissedoffparent.com under custody interference, there's a 4 or 5 part process that is laid out that a person should go through. we're going to assume that they're doing that and then providing that information to the police along with the SAP or the custody agreement. So they have that. So this, what's being said and what I have to believe in the thousands of documented police reports that I actually have access to, there's something, there's a disconnect somewhere.
Commented on that, and I'm sure you'd be the same, because I agree. Once we start enforcing those, there's people that do it because they know they can get away with it. Once they see, hey, you're going to go to court, that posture will change.
Word of mouth works a lot, and that's the thing that's happening in crime across the board. That crime across the board is increasing. Violent crime's really up because people aren't feeling the consequences of actions. They're not, oh, that guy that I know that he did that ag robbery down the street, I just saw him yesterday. So clearly there are no consequences, and we've got to get back to where the consequences are closer in time. When you've got 40,000 cases pending, it's very difficult for people to get.
See, this is the part that I don't understand. So Phil correctly states that if there are no consequences for committing a crime, which he's also admitted, just like, it's common sense, that it is a state jail felony. But since it's not being enforced, people are not doing what they're supposed to do. And he is confirming that people, since they know they're not going to get in trouble, they do it. I don't see the problem here. I don't see this problem.
Feel the pain of the punishment when it's so far away. That's why, as a judge, I ran the most efficient court in the courthouse, because that was important to me. Two things that I wanted it to, when you have kids, for example, you have kids and they did something wrong today, and you said, well, I'll get back to you next year on your punishment. Well, they won't even remember what they got punished for.
Yeah.
So I want it to be close in time. Of course, you can't do it in a day, but if it were 6 months, I would consider that an old case in my court. 6 to 8 months, we're trying a case, 6 to 8 months. That's what we were doing in my court, because I wanted that punishment to be close in time to when the act actually occurred. Or if you're not guilty, I wanted it to be over, because that's a weight on your shoulders that you're having to wait to figure it out. And third,
see, this is where Phil and I we agree when we're talking about, this piece of it is we're reasonable people. Again, if we have our children taken from us, we're upset, but as long as we know that the process is working and that the people are going to get punished eventually, they're not going to do it. But when they know that they can have 2503 filed time and time again, and there's zero penalty, which again, the data shows that's exactly what's happened. That's what we have. I don't know how many groups and different people doing different things trying to expose this information. You can go to my website, see some of them. There's other groups and that have their information out there. They all tell the same story: is that when the police are called out, the parents see that nothing's going to happen to them, so why would they? And Phil's acknowledging, confirming, and everything else that, based on everything, that this is what's going to continue. Okay.
Victim of the crime wants justice close in time. As time goes on, they're going to think that justice didn't get served. So that's important. That was important to me as a judge. It'll be important to me as a district attorney that we get these cases resolved early in time. Now, a lot of people talk about, they're against plea bargains. Against plea bargains. Well,
I've never heard that.
Well, people.
He tries to derail a little bit here, but the plea bargain and going back to the discussion of you can take it to court because contempt of court, of course, is a contempt item, but we all know that we go back to court repeatedly and the judge doesn't arrest the person, because again, we would have data on that, doesn't arrest the offending parent. They give them chance after chance after chance. Look at, off the top of my head, there's a number of them, but George Saldana, I could name names all day long. Of course, I'm old and I can't remember names, but people are going through that process of going back, because that's what they're being told to do, incorrectly I might add, but they're going back to court, and then the judge is allowing them, or allowing the other parent to get away with it. And then when you've emboldened that parent to know that nothing's going to happen, they continue doing it. And Phil, I mean, he's given his answer, is that he puts other things above the 2503 issue. It looks like he's not going to look into it, and he wants to talk about other things, not important to, or not as important as this 2503 issue, which this could be addressed if we have a strong DA in place that's going to enforce the law. And again, just to keep belaboring the point, having the DA work in concert with the sheriff, the police, they've said having those two work together, that's how it gets done. Well, we've got Sheriff Wayborn in Tarrant County on board. He's pushing forward. Now we need a strong DA that is going to work to get this fixed, start prosecuting some of these cases, send that message as they were discussing, send that message that don't do it.
Will say that they don't like plea bargaining, and because you're giving a case
Again,
away for less than
jumping
what
on the
it's
Facebook
worth.
Right,
comments.
I
This is what they're
understand that.
thinking about it.
Right.
Well, you've got 40,000 cases
Yeah.
pending.
What do you think?
You can't try 40,000 cases.
There's no way.
It's not, and even if Jesus comes back and no crime starts today, we start at 40,000. How many years would it take?
More than 10, probably.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't be here if Jesus came back, first of all. So it'd be somebody else's problem. So, but as far as no crime, if it just goes away, we've got a long time. We have to have plea bargains. And plea bargains, what's important about that is experienced prosecutors looking at a case and knowing the value, because they've tried the cases. They know what this case is worth.
Sure.
They know the pit.
Let's switch over here. I was going to put his logo up and all that, but I remember that, he just talked on and on about plea bargaining and things like that. Again, for the folks that are probably tuning into this, probably one of you, probably my mom or something, I don't know. Again, custody interference, near and dear to my heart. Although I'm not impacted by it. That's just to kind of say that it's a wrong that needs to be righted, is what it boils down to for me. And we have two candidates in Tarrant County that are they have their perspectives, which you just heard an example of each. For Tiffany Burks, she has said it, her position a number of times. You can go back to Fort Worth Memories political page and review the videos. Phil, I believe, has just been on once on the show, and he stated his position, and you heard it. There's, nothing else I can say. So I would just say, from a district attorney, Tarrant County voting perspective, if 2503 is an important item for you, vote accordingly. You can get more information on my website, pissedoffparent.com, under custody interference, along with other information. I have national data and information specific to Texas. Actually, the custody interference page specific. Most of the information there is for Texas exclusively, and has that kit and things like that, and links that you can kind of walk through there, and as well as all kinds of other information. Just as another minor note here for anyone that may still be listening, is I am self-funded, not asking for money, don't want money. I just want to kind of throw it out there that I'm not looking to make a buck off of this. As always, I'm no longer involved, but I do want to help people out. And one of the ways that lets me know that people care or are interested or learning or whatever is when I see people watching the videos, sharing the videos. I'm on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, of course YouTube. Actually, apparently I got 1.2 million views on a TikTok a while back. I don't know, but and I'm trying to increase the exposure and things like that. But viewing and sharing and commenting on my work lets me know, hey, I should be doing this as opposed to playing video games. So please do that. Like, subscribe, follow. I'm on Facebook under Piss Off Parent, obviously. let me know. And I'm going to continue doing these. I'll be working as best I can with other organizations and groups to do similar type formats and spread that education around so they can start doing those type of things. And if you like this, great. As you see up on the marquee there, that I have a call-in number. It's not live yet. I'm just kind of tying those pieces in, working out some of the other kinks. But saying about a live call-in show. Again, Facebook Live comments are currently live, so you can view those. Or you can comment and get in the conversation. But outside of that, just want to make this quick. But thank you all for all one of you that were probably paid to listen and watch. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your day, and I will see you the next time.